Hi there, my name's Ewan and I'm a PGDE student at the University of Strathclyde in the academic year 2020-2021. And this of course was the infamous year of the coronavirus pandemic, and so there was a number of different things that happened, changes to our studies. One of them was the university asked us, instead of presenting our professional practice file in paper format, to use the Windows application Microsoft OneNote. And so we were to use that to present our professional practice file, to make it shareable and usable by our tutors and mentors, to demonstrate our work, particularly during our placements in schools. And so what I thought would be maybe helpful for current students and future students is if I put together this training video to help them understand perhaps how to present your lesson plans in particular in the OneNote application, and how generally to navigate through OneNote and use it to edit your professional practice file. So the program, as I said, the university asked us to use to put together our professional practice file was OneNote for Windows 10. Now, the way you can find this on your computer is just simply typing in OneNote into your search bar and you'll find it right there. There are actually two different types of OneNote, confusingly. There is OneNote in itself and then the one entitled OneNote for Windows 10. We're going to be using OneNote for Windows 10. It doesn't matter if you're using this on a Apple Mac or a desktop PC or a laptop or anything like that, or it's the same program and it'll be in the same format, so you can follow this tutorial on any of those devices. So if you open up OneNote for Windows 10, and here we go. Here we have the Strathclyde University Professional Practice file. Now you should have received a template of your professional practice file from the university, and so when you open it up in OneNote, this is what it'll look like. Now the formatting may be changeable year on year, so I'm not going to go too much into detail on the particular format of the document, but you will see an index down the left hand side of the OneNote application with the various different sections there, and pages within those sections for you to add to. We're going to be paying particular attention to section number 1, in which you'll find observation log of your lessons. Observations are perhaps done by your mentor in school or by other teachers, and you add to that log. We'll look at how we can maybe index that log so it makes it easier to search and easier to look through, particularly for your tutor. And then we're also going to be paying particular attention to section number 5, in which we'll find this page, lesson plans. And here's one I completed earlier. Your lesson plans, you're asked to add your lesson plans to your PPF throughout your placements, and it can be a bit of a monster task in some ways if you're just simply throwing them on there. So I thought I'd maybe help you arrange your lesson plan section in such a way that your tutor can easily access it and see the work that you have done. So we'll see on the lesson plan section there is a space for each of your lesson plans, and you can add new pages. And within the page itself, here's the one I filled in earlier, we can add our lesson plan documents, our PowerPoint slides maybe we used during the lesson, and any additional resources like videos, handouts, things like that. You want to give your lesson plan a title, probably the name of the lesson itself, and then now OneNote, unlike Microsoft Word or perhaps some other word editing documents, OneNote isn't separated into different printable pages. Instead, it is one big white canvas, which is useful for us throwing down lots of different materials onto, but can become a bit of a mess, hard to manage if it's not laid out carefully. So what I'd suggest you do is you create on your lesson plan page 3 different columns. Firstly, one for your lesson plan document itself, which once again you should receive a template for to fill in for each lesson. Then one for your PowerPoint slides, maybe slides and images you've used during your lesson in order. And then a final column for additional resources, things that you might have used during the lesson, videos, handouts, even pictures of pupils' work that they've completed during your lesson. So you're showing evidence for what you have done. So I'm going to show you in this tutorial how you would firstly lay out that page, and then how you would add to it those different documents in a way that's easy to see, easily accessible, and present your work to the best of your ability. So in order to add a new page for our lesson plan, just simply right click on this area next to all your other pages under the lesson plan section, and then left click on the new page button there. We want to give the lesson plan a name, so let's name it the title of the lesson. And then we want to create our 3 columns. Now, of course, like I said, OneNote is one big white canvas, so you can click anywhere on the page to start editing it. So let's just click here in the top left and start typing lesson plan. The text itself you can select and then edit the size of it, and edit it, make it bold or whatever else you want. So there's our lesson plan. Next to that, we want to type PowerPoint slides. Once again, increase the size of that. And finally, any additional resources. There we go. So we've got our 3 columns. Now, one tip, if you want to move around on your page in OneNote just to see things better, you can zoom in and zoom out if you hold the Control key on your keyboard, which is usually kind of down the bottom left of your keyboard. Hold the Control key and then use the mouse wheel to zoom out and zoom in again. There we go. So we can move around our canvas that way. Now, under the lesson plan column, we want to add our lesson plan document. You should have received a Word document template for editing your lesson plans. And we edit that in Word, the application. But then we want to add the image of that document into our OneNote professional practice file. So the way we do that is we use this Insert tab up here in the top left. Click on Insert. Now, Insert allows you to add lots of different things to your OneNote page. You can add tables, different files, pictures, online videos, audio recordings. But we want to add our lesson plan document. So I want you to click on this Printout button here and select your lesson plan Word document, and then press open. Now, what OneNote has done here is taken that document and added it in picture format. So these are 3 different images of the pages of that document. You can't actually edit these images at all in OneNote, so you'd have to go to Word to edit the original document. It's also added a couple of links to the file itself. We don't really need these, so you can select those and delete them. We just need our tutor to be able to see our lesson plan document. So we take these images, each page has been converted to an image. You can move them around, you can resize them using the corners there. Just put them underneath the lesson plan column. There we go. So we've got our lesson plan there for our tutor to see. We can now move the other columns along. And next we need our PowerPoint slides. Now, to add our PowerPoint slides, you could do something similar. You could try going to Insert, then Print Out, and selecting your PowerPoint, but you may have a problem. OneNote sometimes doesn't like converting PowerPoints into images, so I found a little workaround around this. If you open up your original PowerPoint document, go to File, and then go to Print, and instead of selecting your usual printer, whatever that might be, select OneNote for Windows 10, and then just make sure you've got all your pages correctly lined up and hit Print. Just wait for a second, and what it's doing here is converting your PowerPoint images or pages slides into images. And if we reopen OneNote, it asks us, where do you want to insert this printout? Well, you want to insert it on the current page we're on your lesson plan. So select the current page, press OK, and it'll take a moment or two. And there we go, we've found it down here. It's added it to the bottom of the first column. Here are all our PowerPoint slides from our PowerPoint document, all in order. Should all be there. So that's one way you can add your PowerPoint document. If printout isn't working, instead open up the PowerPoint document itself and print it to OneNote for Windows 10, and you should be able to access that. Finally, we've got additional resources column. So what we want to do here is add some of the videos we used maybe during the lesson, or some of the handout documents that we gave to the children, to the pupils during our lesson. So that might involve different types of files. One of them is a video file. I've got two video files I used during this lesson in two slightly different ways. One of them was a video file found on YouTube. Another one was one that I had on my computer, and a file on my computer. So first we'll add the file from my computer. So in order to do that, we just click wherever on the document in that column we want to add it, and we go to Insert File. And here we go, I've got the Parable of the Good Samaritan video that I used during the lesson. I'm going to click Open. You've got two options here. We're going to try Insert as an Attachment. Well, OneNote doesn't like that idea. The video itself is too large to be inserted into this document. So instead, we're going to try going back to File, going to the file itself of the video, and choosing Upload to OneNote and Insert Link. Now what that's doing is it is uploading your video file to the OneDrive, which is an online storage provided by Microsoft. And you can see here, if we zoom in, it is slowly uploading that, and then it's going to provide a link, and the link is going to be inserted into your OneNote for Windows 10, so that immediately when your tutor clicks on that link, it will show him or her the video file. So we can leave that there, just put it next to the slide which the video was used at which point during the lesson. Now we're going to move on to add, we have a handout here that I gave out during the video. So we're going to go to Insert, Printout, and the handout was in PDF format. We're going to click Open, and here we go, it's been added down the bottom again. You can delete the link. Then we're going to move the handout images up to where we want them. Again, we can resize them if we like. There we go, we've got the handout and the comic book handout as well. So that allows you to do that just by clicking the Insert Printout. And finally, we've got another video that we used during the lesson, and this video was found on YouTube. So instead of going to File, Add the file of the video on our computer, we're going to click on Insert Online Video, and we're going to enter the web address. It's a YouTube web address. We've just cut that from the YouTube site which has the video, and we're going to press OK. And there you go, you see it's added the online video in a little box with a link, so your tutor can access that. In fact, can even view it within OneNote. It will open up and play for them. So we can see that with the link for that video. So we've added, in fact, our first video here. was a bit different. Remember, it was a video we added ourselves from our own computer onto OneDrive. Again, if the tutor clicks on that link, it will take them to your OneDrive shared space and allow them to watch that video there. Just going to come up. There we go. And they can view that quite easily there. But if you've got it on YouTube, you can just add it straight to OneNote and it'll appear there next to it. So that allows you to add your lesson plan next to your PowerPoint slides, next to any additional resources that you've used during your lesson. Just to make it clear, you might want to add some arrows just to demonstrate at which point different resources were used during the lesson. If you do want to do that, you can click on the Draw tab up the top left here, select a pen, just choose this red one, maybe make it nice, and you can edit the size of the pen nib, you can edit the different colors. We'll choose the largest size here, and then click on Shapes and click on the arrow shape, the simple arrow shape. And again, you can use an arrow just to point. There we go, there's the video that we used. In fact, we'll move that arrow just down a little bit. We can insert another arrow to say this was the handout we used. We can insert another arrow just to say this was the comic book layout that we used. And then once, instead of as you can see, I've just marked the sheet there with a dot because I'm still using the pen. Instead, if you want to go back to your cursor, just click up the top left here where the cursor icon is. You can move items around again using that. So we've got our, there we go, our video link, our handouts, and various different other things there for our tutor to view. So hopefully that helps us add our lesson plans and PowerPoint slides and other resources that we use in our lessons to the PPF on OneNote. But one challenge of moving everything to the digital landscape is how do we add physical copies of documents that we might need, like for example observation notes that our mentors complete for us, or perhaps evidence of pupils working. Well, one application you might find useful for doing this is the Microsoft Lens application. Microsoft Lens can be found on Google Play Store or the Apple Store, and it's an application that allows you to turn your phone into effectively a scanner. And the Microsoft Lens apps is pretty simple to use once you get it started up. It simply goes straight to your camera, and you'll see once you place your, this is an observation from my mentor, once you place it on a dark surface, it'll begin to try to work out where the document is. Then you press the capture button. You can line up the borders if you like a bit more carefully. Once you hit done, it'll ask you to save it. You can save it in various different forms on OneDrive, or just save it to your gallery. And then in the gallery, press the ... to the bottom right of the image, and you can share that image. You can share it via your email. You can again share it on an online storage system like OneDrive or something similar. So that allows you to capture physical documents. How then do we add them to our PPF? Well, let's have a look at that. So we just captured observation notes from our mentor. So let's go to section 1 where we find the observation log. Now we've got a few different entries into that log. We want to start a new one. So we'll go down to the bottom of the page. We'll enter observation 23rd March 2021. Make that a little bigger. Here we go. Right, so we have a new entry. And how do we add the image of that document? Well, in Microsoft Lens, it takes the image and makes it into a JPEG. So you're going to have to go to Insert. A JPEG is an image file, and go to Pictures, Insert Picture, and then from File, because I've saved that image on my computer, having shared it with myself via email, and then click Open. You'll see that image file appears. Again, you can resize it nicely. And there we go. We have our physical copy of the observation placed on our OneNote under the observations. And now you see this observation log is a long list of different observations, maybe a little bit difficult to navigate. Another thing you could do, just to help your tutor navigate maybe to that particular observation, you can select the text that you've put above it, and then right click on it and use this function, copy link to paragraph. Now this effectively creates a link of this particular point on your OneNote canvas. So it's copied this, we've got it copied. We'll go back up to our log. Here we go. So we'll put a new entry in for this observation. We go to right click and go to paste. Now that's created a link for our observation document down the bottom there. So when the tutor clicks on this link, OneNote will immediately take them straight to that observation. There we go. So that can be useful to just help navigate your observations page. Now you might want to also link this to the lesson plan for that observation or for that lesson. And in order to do that, you do something similar. Let's go back to our lesson plans here in section 5. This was the lesson plan in particular. We select the text of the title of the lesson plan, right click and copy link to paragraph. Then we can go back to section 1 to the observation log, right click and paste. Once again, there we go. We've got the lesson plan link. So when your tutor therefore clicks on that link, see the lesson plan that the observation was based on, left click on it, it takes them immediately to that lesson plan. So they don't have to guess and perhaps misunderstand. You've got it all there for them, the link to the observation and the link to the lesson plan that it is observing. Now you can add some brief notes on that observation. So I hope that helps you just begin to navigate OneNote, make it more accessible perhaps for your tutor, so you can best demonstrate your work. Thanks so much for listening. I hope this has helped. If it has, please do enter that certification link into Microsoft Learner Center, and that'll register your training. So all the best with your studies and your placement.